Cryptozoic Entertainment right here. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Good. Thank you very much. Got to talk right in that mic.
That's all you got to do. Just
right.
talking in the mic and tell me about the MMO TCG space, the genre you have literally invented.
You pulled it out at the end there,
Excellent.
TCG. So MMO TCG, it's sort of the first of its kind. The idea being that MMOs have something in common with trading card games, and what that is the absolute necessity of a very large community.
Sure.
You know, if you don't have a big community, you don't have the M in MMO, so that's a pretty big deal. And for trading card games, we have sort of the same thing. If you don't have someone to play with, trading card games are a pretty lonely and unenjoyable experience. So the idea sort of came to me that these two things have something very important in common, that idea of an aggregated community. And when you look at it from the perspective of what invention you can layer on top of these two things coming together, it becomes very, very exciting. So it's one of those chocolate and peanut butter adventures, right? Like, you know, separately they're awesome, together they become something
even
else.
Better.
Yeah, very different. And, you know, we do, Cryptozoic makes the World of Warcraft trading card game, and that has some of its roots in this whole idea of like an MMO and a TCG meeting. And so this is sort of that natural evolution for us.
Let's put some context into this. You've obviously been involved in multiple spaces around this area in terms of kind of like making supplementary content for fans. This was a Kickstarter project. You guys had a goal of about $300,000. It's fair to say you met your goal then.
Yeah, definitely. So the game had been in development for about 2 years. We were trying to raise money to help us sort of get it over the finish line, to put a lot of extra polish on it.
Sure.
I felt like Kickstarter was the way to do it. I'm a big fan of Kickstarter. I think it really gives the individual voice and opportunity to create something that is specific and distinct. You know, so much of entertainment development revolves around this consensus thing.
Yeah.
And Kickstarter is the one place where someone with a great idea can come in and say, no, I want to do it this way, and have people come and say, yeah, I agree with you. That's awesome. Let's make it. And so I felt like this project is very odd. I've shown it to a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people, and not everyone gets what an MMO TCG is.
Well, let's get the gameplay up and start actually fleshing this bad boy out. So, Hex Shards of Faith, just to set up for people. This is a PC game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a PC game. It's free to play. What it actually does is allow you to jump in and have the best learning experience to figure out what a TCG is that's ever been created. You know, one of the goals for us is to, one, give all the tens of millions of TCG players a chance to have a product that lives up to their expectations. Because right now, you know, I'm a hardcore TCG player, a hardcore PC gamer, hardcore MMO player. Right now, there is no product out there that I'm excited about when it comes to playing a TCG online. That's where this product came from. This is the product I want to play. And so the goal for HEX is to make this amazing TCG experience for all the tens of millions of people who love TCGs and who maybe aged out of it. I mean, with a lot of us, we get older, we used to go into card shops to play TCGs. After I put the kids to bed, I'm not driving to a card shop at 9 o'clock at night to go play. And if I did, it's a little awkward because I got a bunch of 15-year-olds in there. It just feels a little odd.
Yeah, that's a little weird situation.
So we want this great game where you can jump in, play at your own pace, and that's great for the TCG people out there now. But also, I think there are many, many millions of people that would love a TCG. TCGs are inherently fun. They're strategic. They're creative. For me, the backbone of all good game design is creativity. And TCGs have that in spades. The idea that I pick which cards I want to put into which deck. What you're seeing here, by the way, you're seeing some of the MMO side. You're seeing some of the cities. You're seeing that big globe spinning around. You're getting a look at some of the interface. Please keep in mind, this is all pre-alpha. There's lots of polish and animation and effects that still need to be layered onto this.
Can we contextualize this a bit? Obviously, the trading card game portion of it is very much you're looking down at a set of decks and all that stuff's happening. So this outworld stuff, how does this work? Is this like are you fixed position, panoramic? Are you exploring? How are you interacting with these environments here?
So these are fixed, but they are three-dimensional with animation. And so you'll go. These are the cities you're seeing now. And so the idea is that you'll be going and exploring cities, finding vendors, auction houses. There's dungeons. There's quest hubs and NPCs you're interacting with. The whole idea is that the MMO gives us the chance to take something you love, TCGs, and layer on top of it all of this narrative, all of this storytelling, all of this discovery. I mean, that's one of the things that's so great about an MMO is this idea of discovery, of adventure, of working with other people. And for us, we're going to actually have the chance for you to go into dungeons and play against this amazing AI. I have the world's most experienced TCG AI designer. Seriously, a guy named Chris Woods. And he's done 7 TCGs, all the big ones. He is the most amazing TCG AI designer in the world, and he's doing it for HEX, so I know HEX is going to be amazing. When it comes to the MMO part, talking about the people, I have Kevin Jordan, who's a good friend of mine, one of my childhood friends. Warcraft, the MMO, he did the entire class system. And so Kevin actually came to Cryptozoic and is in charge of our class system and some of our MMO stuff. And so I've got this amazing team put together. Ben Stoll, my lead TCG designer, huge talent. And so we're putting together this incredible team, or have put together an incredible team, making this game. What you're seeing now is is some of the gameplay actually for the TCG component. Again, pre-alpha, lots of bells and whistles still to be put on. But even at this stage, what you're seeing is probably the best looking PC TCG experience ever made. I mean, far better than pretty much anything else you're going to see out there. And when we get to the next level, which is going to have all the rest of the polish, it's going to blow people away.
This is a really interesting project. You guys seem to be hitting the mark on a bunch of different crossroads. Like, there's in terms of just trading card games or any sort of card games on consoles and PCs, there seems to be this rejuvenation. There's absolutely no doubt that you guys are tapped into this big community, which is, you know, probably one of the things that the internet has helped in bringing people together.
Yeah.
So you've got this situation where, you know, we talked about World of Warcraft and how that kind of broke the mainstream into what an MMO was. It was a space that for a long time had lots of stigmas attached to it. Do you think that maybe Hex Shards of Fate is a game that, while also creating a platform that maybe fans of TCG games have always wanted, that might also bleed out into a sort of a mainstream audience?
100%, and I've said this a lot. You know, you look at, before World of Warcraft came out, if you told someone that was going to be 10 million people playing that, they would have laughed in your face, because EverQuest had done it and had maxed at about 600,000 people.
Yeah.
And if you look at League of Legends, RTSs were a pretty dead category. And if you told someone, listen, this mod of an RTS is going to be the biggest PC game in the world, millions of people playing it, I think they would have laughed in your face. And
somebody said this guy in Norway made Lego online.
Right. I think it's dangerous to pigeonhole experiences as niche-y or narrow, because if they're fun, there is a chance that they will find an audience, and if they can resonate and be quality-centric, that can be a pretty big audience. And so I think this is a chance for a game to come in and really show what like a hardcore, full-featured TCG can do in terms of just absolute satisfaction as a gamer, and potentially become very, very big. I mean, that's one of our goals is, like I said, the learn-to-play experience is going to be so slick, and it's going to make it so easy for that non-TCG gamer to jump in and kind of easily learn how to play. And that's one of the magical things that Blizzard does. You know, Blizzard, I'll tell you a story. So my mother-in-law, she's like over 60, and as a joke one year, because I used to work at Blizzard, I was the head of global biz dev and licensing for Blizzard before coming to starting Cryptozoic with my partners. I gave her a big box of games from Blizzard because she had some PC game on her laptop. I think she got it like the bargain bin at like a Best Buy. And I mean, you like playing games? She said, yeah, I like playing games. And so I gave her a big box of games.
What games was she playing at that stage?
It was like some
Minesweeper?
No, some Nile game. I think it was probably a light RTS-y sort of thing.
I think, it's like Age of Empires kind of.
Yeah, but like a knockoff. And so I thought maybe she played Diablo, right? Like point and click, like very easy. She's like, no.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Your mother-in-law. I would never expected a woman at that age would want to play Diablo.
To jump into, right?
Yeah,
like,
point and click.
So
point and click.
She jumps. She says, "No, I'm playing World of Warcraft." And I'm like, "Wow, really? World of Warcraft's pretty heady, pretty deep." Like, no, I'm playing that. And so she jumped in, and because Blizzard does such an amazing job ramping you into the experience, like, okay, go kill these wolves and give me the pelts, and like you press this button and it glows. Now, this is like 3.5 years later, she's in a guild of all 50-year-old plus ladies.
Oh my God.
And they're high-end raiders. She knows shot rotation. She's a hunter. She talks to me about these hardcore mechanics. This is my 62-year-old mother-in-law. Hi, Candy. Absolutely a huge WoW player. And it's because of the magic of making that initial experience so easy. Yeah. And that's one of the things we've really taken to heart, and we're going to make sure that this is that learning experience for people who don't play TCGs. For the people that do, this has every feature imaginable. Basically, it's and again, I have a bunch we haven't even talked about yet in terms of this game because I want to grow it forever. But in terms of that raw first pass TCG stuff, because we're digital only, we get the chance to do so many amazing things. I mean, people watching this maybe will know about the Kickstarter, or like we have HEXTCG.com has so much information about the game. But
like in terms, just one of the things that jumps out to me is that when you've got a trading card game, and I don't play these games, so this is all coming from my layman point of view. But when you have a trading card game, you are bound by the physical nature of trading cards. They are in your hand. You can only do so much in terms of how they evolve or change or whatnot. Obviously, in a digital space, you can do whatever the hell you want. So has that allowed you to kind of go into new directions in terms of what TCGs can do?
We made the decision early on that we were not going to make a physical version of Hex. You will never see a physical version of this game unless they're promo cards as giveaways, just as like a fun. But you will never see a real playable version of Hex in the physical space, because if we did that, we would have to limit how much design space we had for all of the digital components. And for me, that was one of the greatest innovations about this game. Like, I have the double back. So the idea is that in a traditional trading card, you flip it over, you got the back, but in a digital trading card, I flip it again, I have a double back. And on the double back, I have, each card is a unique item in this game.
Okay.
So if I have a card in my deck and I can unlock 3 achievements on it, and it gives me an extended art version. It has a leveling bar that I can level up, and it becomes a foil version.
Excellent.
It has a trophy case. Get this. We talked to all these pro players about the game, and one of the things they love so much has a trophy case on the double back. And so if I win a tournament and this card is in my deck, I get a glowing trophy that has my name, the tournament, and the date. And so if they, as like, I'm a pro player with a big name, everyone loves me, I won the world championship, I can take the cards that have that trophy on it into the auction house and get a giant premium, because now I'm famous. And the card has this history about it's how it was played. And like most of the people we tell that to are like, their jaws hit the floor, because there's so much stuff we're able to do that's never been done. It's crazy.
Like the blinds have been pulled back, and the opportunities that no one thought of before.
And that's just like like the double back's not a gameplay thing particularly. In gameplay, putting cards in the opponent's deck, or making cards that change in the middle of play, or cards like escalation cards. When I cast it the first time, it does 2 points of damage. That's Rage Fire. But all copies of Rage Fire in my deck, and this one gets shuffled back in, and now it says 4 damage. Next time I cast it, it says 8 damage. And so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's an escalation. All of this functionality is digital only. And that's where this game is going to come out and just be like revolutionary for the entire TCG space.
So let's talk about the obviously the MMO is the other part of this, the idea of playing with other people. So a couple of like quick point questions. You're playing this game, you've got one set of cards. Are you one character as well?
No, you actually make a thing called the keep, and the keep is the top level of your account.
Okay.
You're going to make lots of champions that you'll then level up, and the champion is what you associate with a deck.
Okay.
So if I make, there's 8 races and 6 classes, I'm going to make a champion, I'll pick a class, I'll pick a race, and then I'll start to level them up. And as I level them up, I have a skill tree, and I can spend points in the skill tree, and based on that skill tree, I may get access to special cards that only a warrior could have. I may unlock different charge powers or abilities that change how my deck functions. And then besides that, what we have is equipment. And so on the champion, I can actually collect this equipment, and each card has 2 pieces of equipment associated with it. And so I collect that equipment, and I can put that on my guy, and then it changes how that card works in my deck.
Okay.
So if I have like the rare Kraken card, and I have Seafarer's Helm, Seafarer's Helm says that the Kraken, when he comes into play, instead of making 4 tentacle tokens, it makes 8 tentacle tokens. And that's a lot of tentacle tokens. For tentacle lovers,
that is a lot of tentacles.
So there's all this great stuff. And what I talk about when I say like the equipment, or we have socketed cards. So we have socketed cards where you can actually have a bunch of gems we've made, and then you get to plug a gem into it, and it changes what the card does. You ask any TCG gamer what their fondest wish would be, it's the answer, you're going to get the same answer every time. I want to make my own card. That is
of course.
important. And so what we've done by creating all of these amazing sandbox elements is really create the first experience where TCG gamers get that chance. I mean, this is, with the combinations that we have, it is in the billions of combinatorials. It is a sandbox TCG. And I tell people that, and they're like, what? How can you make a sandbox TCG? Well, it's not easy. Like, one of the core competencies of Cryptozoic is making trading card games. We're not a digital company, we're a trading card game company. So all the balance and design elements that we're so good at have let us really push the boundaries in terms of what the player can do.
So then I guess one of the other parts, obviously the T in trading card game, is the ability to have that economy, to have cards that are worth something more than others and whatnot. How do you do that when you've got so many versions of cards that can be created, and how do you organize it in game? Do you have auction houses, or is it
so that's
peer-to-peer?
a lot of the MMO stuff that we talk about. We're not a third-person action RPG, so we don't have the like traditional exploring space. Everyone's together fighting something. What we do have, though, is all the great things about an MMO that are about community. So we have an auction house, we have a guild system, we have factions, we have crafting, we have crafting recipes, we have all these amazing MMO things that are so compelling and community driven. And so the auction house is a big part of that. Absolutely, we have an auction house. When it comes into the auction house, we have a fully sortable, selectable. It's a very deep experience in terms of how we're going to use the auction house. When it comes to what you're talking about, though, like cards having that secondary market value, we're not involved in that.
Okay.
It's very important for a collectibles company to understand they cannot be involved in the secondary market component of their own game. And this is something we learn, or something that we know from doing the World of Warcraft TCG, from making, we make trading cards that are collectible with costume swatches.
Is that just a known quantity in the trading card game space? Like, in the community, you know, that's the way
for collectibles, I'll say this, for collectibles companies. Collectibles companies that make their bread and butter creating things that have secondary market value and desirability know very, very well to stay far away from that secondary market. Some of the digital companies that have sort of branched into selling a collectibles feel to their stuff don't really get that, and so they cross the line occasionally. But it's something that's very, very important, and something that we watch very, very closely.
So are you saying that Hex Shards of Fate supports used cards?
Yeah, we will absolutely allow you to auction off your cards, and somebody else can.
This news everyone was
no DRM on the cards individually. So,
but unfortunately, you do need an internet connection to play Hex Shards.
Yes. Well, that's an important point. There is no offline play for Hex. Also, if you're in charge of a collectibles economy where these things have real value to people, where they feel very connected to these things, security has to be your absolute number one priority, and for me it is. And so you have to be connected because a lot of stuff lives server side, and that's the only way that we can protect people's collections and all the hard work and investment they put into the game.
Cool. We're getting a lot of questions in from folks. If you have any questions, please send them in to @DanielDwyer on Twitter, or put them in the GameSpot chat. So
what you're watching down here is you're seeing the Shin Hair. So the Shin Hair are these feudal samurai-ish rabbit race, these little anamorphic rabbits, and they're really mean. And so their whole thing is they just make more Shin Hair because rabbits can throw out 1,000 troops.
Absolutely,
so their whole they have shock troops, and so when they attack, they'll throw thousands of Shin Hair out there. And the only way to get respect in the Shin Hair society is to actually make it through that experience, to be all battle scarred. And that's how you rise in notoriety. But they don't care about their troops. They'll sacrifice them because they can just make more. They have the concubunnies. They're in charge of making more Shin Hair troops.
So concubines, I like it. So in terms of the context of what's happening, and apologies if I'm getting a bit too layman in this, I know we're probably a lot of TCG fans that are watching the stream as well. So this engagement that's happened here, this is between two different people.
That is correct.
Did this happen in the game world? These are two different individuals?
Yes, this is the standard PvP interaction between two people playing a trading card game.
And would this be...
So on the bottom half of the screen is the player who is, like that would be you, for instance. You see your cards, you've got your deck, you have your discard pile, you've got your champion over there on the far left. You can see he's playing a necrotic warrior, and you got your life total underneath there, your charge ability. And so what you're seeing there is the actual TCG battle. And so the cards that are in play are the things that are being exhausted to try to damage the other player. He's blocking with his creatures. These are all the things that you would expect in a TCG.
Is the other player another human? Is there AI?
In this case, this is another human player playing, but there is, as I mentioned, a PvE experience in the game that is all about playing against AI. In the PvE experience, there's actually there's a raid. So some of the dungeons actually unlock a raid boss. And the raid boss allows me to play with two of my friends, so up to 3 players at once playing against a raid boss. So we make decks that work together. So you can imagine, like, my deck has a lot of healing, my deck has a lot of direct damage, so we build strategies about how the decks work together, but then those strategies also have to know about the raid boss. So if you're fighting a raid boss that's really good at summoning up lots of little guys, then you got to make sure you know what to do to take care of that.
Do your friends need to have also gotten to that stage dungeon to raid?
You'll all have to unlock the boss, but once everyone has it unlocked, then you can all jump together and go play, or grab people from your guild and go play a raid. And so that's a big part of the PvE experience.
So you're saying about the cards leveling up and whatnot. Is there a big onus on the champions leveling up as well?
Yes. So the champions do level up, and it actually unlocks a talent tree, and you get to spend points, and that then changes how he operates. So that's also a really fun part of the game. Is figuring out what build of your champion works best for a particular deck, and then also what deck/champion combination works best for a dungeon or for a raid. And then we also have most of the stuff on the PvP side where I'm playing against you in tournaments like draft and our marathon tournaments. That stuff is really just the cards that come out of the packs. They're the PvP cards. All the cards you're collecting on the PvE experience. There's hundreds of PvE exclusive cards that you can unlock and get for free because the game's free to play. All of that stuff is really PvE centric, like the equipment. But we're going to have this Wild West tournament structure for one bracket where you can play with your PvE stuff in the PvP experience. So you're just going to have these crazy bonkers, like out of control decks, and people just having a ton of fun doing that. And the feedback we've got, that people are really excited by that too.
So I'm getting a lot of questions in here from people just trying to get some context.
Sure. Yes. It's a PC and Mac, and we're actually going to launch on Android and iOS tablets as well.
My mic.
No problem.
I like my Madonna mic though. I want to keep it. Apparently my mic's got.
It's going to make it harder to dance when you do our moves, you know.
Yeah. When I'm doing my dance moves later
on. Right.
It's just gonna fall. Yeah.
Hard to vogue with a mic in your hand, right?
Backflips. So it's free to play. You said it's also available on.
It's a PC and Mac, and then it's going to be on tablets, and it's going to be on iOS and Android.
Okay.
That was one of our stretch goals. Now we have to do it.
Oh really?
Our 15th stretch goal was tablet support. He actually left. There you go. So
the mic.
It was unlocked. So now we have to do it. We always wanted to do it. We were just able to accelerate the timeline because the Kickstarter was so successful.
So is that ever an issue then, in a way, if you've reached your goal and you're surpassed by so much? Is there ever?
We can share one if you'd like.
Button. It's fine. I think we're cool now. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Yeah. So when you reach your stretch goals and whatnot, was there ever an onus then to sort of try and placate those people, like to try and
I'll tell you what,
support those guys so much?
I had all of the stretch goals originally mapped out, and once this thing launched and I saw the community start to rally behind it and get so excited, and I felt so like a lot of love, like I was really like so blown away. And I looked at my stretch goals and I'm like, these are lame. And so I trashed them, and I mean we kept some, but I trashed most of them. And then I just went to the community and I was looking at what they were saying. And the great thing about Cryptozoic is that we're fans first, which means that we really try to listen to our community. And they had a ton of great ideas. And so, like, the things that they were looking for in terms of stretch goals is what I tried to, sort of populate the list with as we moved. At one point, I had to stop promising game features because I was nervous about having to push the launch of the game out. So the final 3 were really sort of IP building, kind of fun stuff, like the novel.
Stuff you can do later on once the game is
or I could do simultaneous. Like, I didn't have to burden the team with it. I could have outside people doing some of that fun stuff. And so it was amazing. Like, the reaction we've had, the people that are into the game are so excited and so into it. I feel like I've found like 15,000 kindred spirits basically because it's dominated my life for 2 years and it means everything to me. And to have all these people sort of jump into this and say, like, we love it, has been, like, the most amazing. Like, the 2.5 million is amazing, and that's great. But the people and the community thing is even better.
It must be great to know that when your game is out, especially when it's something that's never been done before, you're treading on new ground. It must be wonderful to know that at the very least, you've got this passionate group of people.
At least I have these people.
Exactly.
Having shown the game to a lot of people before the Kickstarter, talking to publishers and having their eyes just glaze over when I'm like, it's an MMO TCG. They're just like, what? Like, it was really, and then occasionally I'd find someone who played TCGs and they'd be like, I didn't get it. But it was typically someone that was like, not in charge. So,
in a way, that's the beauty of Kickstarter, is that it's you can tap into these pockets of people who are super passionate, and it kind of brings them together. Like, because I imagine that at any stage before the Kickstarter is possible, trying to pitch any new idea is hard, but trying to pitch an idea this like that is...
No, it wouldn't happen. It's just too new an idea, and they can see either side of it, and they can kind of get either side, but they can't understand the power of those two things coming together. They can see chocolate, and they can see peanut butter. They cannot conceive a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. It just does not exist in their mind. And so now that we have a bunch of people like, I get it. It just feels so gratifying. And I was terrified before launching that Kickstarter, I don't know if you watched the video.
I did. It's a great job as well.
I make a fool of myself, but you know,
wait, the tattoos are gone.
Yeah, right. I had them removed. That was part of the money paid for that. So, you know, I'm kind of a goof, and I like, you know, that's how I am, and I kind of felt like I had to be true to my own personality. I'm passionate about this, but I'll tell you, like, we filmed it, and then there was like 3 weeks where nothing happened, and I was kind of put it out of my mind. And then the week leading up to launching it, I was having nightmares every night because, like, I mean, I've been in the industry almost 20 years. I'm making a real big fool of myself in this, putting myself out there. If this thing just died, it would have been I put 2 years of work into this game.
It's a very
no one
public
wants it.
hanging.
Yes,
it
is.
You know.
And if everyone had said this is terrible, you're an idiot, like it would have been very crushing. I would have driven my car off a cliff probably, but it was for that week I was having nightmares every night. And then when it launched and people were like, "Hey, that's funny," I was like, "Oh." Such a relief.
Did you see the same sort of thing where there was quite an initial uptake?
No.
There was a little down and then a big at the end?
Relatively, I felt like the first day was like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
If we can have a couple,
$200.
Right. If we have a couple good days like that, and it's probably going to go way down. Then at the end, we get a little bit more.
Yeah.
We'll maybe hit 300,
which is the traditional kind of
way
it works.
But then it was like, then it got bigger and bigger, and then it kind of went down a little bit, and then it kind of stayed flat at like $60,000 a day every day. It has a very weird trajectory, not like really many other Kickstarters.
Yeah. There's usually a pretty standard bell
like
curve.
Big and then down and then at the end up again. We were kind of just whoa, and then a couple big days and then step back to 60. It was amazing, and we did a lot of community outreach. And the thing was, the community snowballed themselves. They started reaching out to people. They started posting. They started grabbing their friends, and that's what really made the difference. And you know, we had some big high-profile advocates like the Penny Arcade guys, my friends there, and Angry Joe helped us a whole lot. So we've had some great people.
Yeah, you were saying you were on his podcast a couple days ago.
A couple 100,000 people watch that. So we had like some real help because people really have bought into the vision of it and want to play this game, and they're excited about building a community. But really, it was the community that did this. And so at the end, like at one point, you know, day 2 of it, Kick Track, it shows like what the projection is, and it was like 2.19. And my friend was in my office. He's like, "Whoa, what if?" And I'm like, "Don't even say that. There's no way. That's a pipe dream. That couldn't happen."
That was a pretty accurate.
That's close. I was like, "That's like kind of voodoo is this?" Like, I couldn't believe it.
They knew.
So it was mind blowing, and it changes everything. It really does.
So for people who obviously weren't involved in the Kickstarter or watching this now or who are interested in it, there's absolutely loads of people, hundreds of comments flying in.
Right.
When is it out? Are you doing any sort of public beta? Is there a closed beta for people who were in Kickstarter?
The public beta is going to be in end of September.
Okay.
The closed beta will be, or closed alpha will be sometime before that. Closed alpha is just for the Kickstarter people. It was something that the community demanded, and I agreed 100%. So we're going to give them a few weeks to play on their own and to lock up some names and some guild names. So a nice perk.
That's quite nice. It's it's kind of it's like buying a house and then having the first week of just getting it sorted out, and then
I'm going to jump in there and play with a lot of people during that alpha phase. So it'll be a good chance for us to have a ton of fun. And then the open beta in September. And then hopefully shortly after that, we're just going to start knocking it out. My hope is that by the end of the year, before the end of the year, we've got a lot of stuff locked down. We've got the game out there. But, you know, I can't make that promise because this game means everything to me. It's my baby. And the people that I work with making this game feel exactly the same way. Everyone's incredibly invested. We've been crunching for over a year, like people putting tons of time into this game. And I'm not going to put it out until it's perfect because if we do a great job, make a perfectly polished game, I think there's a great chance that this could be a huge success and really fill a need. And that's what I want most of all.
Cool. Loads of questions coming in. One here,
sure.
Dennis Canswell on Twitter. He's asking, in relation to the free-to-play model, so you guys have got, I'm guessing everyone gets a free starter deck?
Yes, a free starter deck.
What type of in-game purchases then are available from
We've kept it real simple. We're not going to nickel-dime you. I'm really, like, again, I'm not, like, the business side is not the focus for this. No paywalls, none of the pay-to-win. What this is you buy Platinum. Platinum allows you to buy starter decks and booster packs like you would at in a game store. And then Platinum is actually for the entry fee for some of the tournaments, and we have that because we want to be able to put in nice prizes.
Sure.
So that actually like helps with the prize pool stuff. That's it.
Okay.
That's
it
it.
Seems pretty cut and
Everything
dry.
else, everything is custom sleeves, unlocking mercenaries, alternative art, all the cool little bells, like the little bells and whistles stuff we're going to put in. We're going to put all that in. We are, but we're going to put that in as things you either unlock in the PvE experience, or they're just going to be given to you for free out of your booster packs, or they're going to be little fun things we give to everyone. So there's no need for me to charge you $5 for a special sleeve. I can make that something you unlock by doing something fun in the game or winning a tournament, or it drops. all of our booster packs has a booster pack, and then it has a treasure chest inside of the booster pack. So your booster pack not only is that experience of opening it and seeing what you got there, there's a treasure chest that has a rarity level too.
Okay.
So a common, uncommon, rare, legendary treasure chest, and the treasure chest is filled up with all kinds of crazy stuff. So another booster pack could even be in there. Special mercenaries or deck sleeves or equipment from the PvE side or PvE cards. We're going to load that up with lots of fun stuff so that people always have sort of a double-tiered experience when they open a pack of cards.
And again, this is stuff you can only do
because it's digital.
In the digital space.
It'd be hard to put a treasure chest inside of a TCG booster pack in real life.
Got some more questions here. A lot of happy people about the treasure chest stuff as well. How are you going to sort of, I want to talk, because I'm very interested, especially with our audience here at GameSpot, like I'm very interested in the idea of coming at this from a completely new perspective. So I guess you're always going to have new people because this whole concept is very new.
Yes.
So in terms of teaching people how the general how like even base mechanics of how trading card games work. Is that going to be sort of incorporated?
Yeah, like I was saying,
tutorialize it or have it as part of the initial?
No, that's a huge piece of that initial experience. So if you come in and you don't know TCGs, we're going to gently put you into an experience that's a tutorial, an interactive, fully fledged tutorial that runs you through a bunch of encounters. Where I'm going to teach you what a resource. I'm going to teach you what a deck is. I'm going to teach you what a card is. Then I'm going to show you how resources. Here's a hand of cards. Now you're going to want to click on one of these to put a resource into play. When you've done that, it gives you a point. Now the point can be used, and all that's in your deck are wolves and resources. And you're going to learn how to put a wolf into play, and then you're going to learn what it means to attack with the wolf. I'm going to gently guide you through every piece of what it means to play a TCG, what is a TCG, so that I can get those people that may be hardcore TCG players that just don't know it yet. Like my mother-in-law is a hardcore raider, apparently, in online MMOs.
Maybe mine could be too.
Yeah, probably is. You just haven't given her the chance to learn how to be that hardcore raider. So that's what I want to do for the TCG community. I mean, I've been part of the TCG scene since its inception, and I feel like a little bit of a responsibility to try and help grow it, being where I am. And so this is my chance, really, to drag a bunch of new people into the trading card game world.
Awesome! It looks really interesting, Cory. I'll be honest. This is what often happens on our stage here is that we get a sort of a vast array of games here. I saw your Kickstarter last month, and I was kind of piqued my interest. But it's one of these experiences. I remember the first time I saw World of Warcraft, and I kind of thought, you know what? I might give that a go and see what happens.
Right.
I'm looking forward to playing Hex Shards.
Did you play World of Warcraft?
Oh, I never played an MMO, and I played for 3 years.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Awesome. So just to wrap it up, can you tell the folks at home when Hex Shards of Fate is out, or when it should be out, and on what platforms again?
All right, so Hex Shards of Fate, you can go to www.hextcg.com and learn all about it. I'm sorry, which camera am I looking at?
Yeah, this guy right here.
All right. So you go to hextcg.com. You can check out all the information. It's going to come out on PC and on Mac. It's going to be on tablets, Android, and iOS. And beta's in September, and hopefully not too far after that. We got the game out. Hope you get a chance to check it out.
Awesome. Cory, much appreciate you coming on here. Best of luck with the game.
Thank you very much. Very nice chatting with you.
We got loads more stuff coming up here.